back to our channel. Again, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. It is greatly appreciated. Today's case that we'll be covering is the Rhys Bonner case. Now, the Rhys Bonner case took place in Scotland. It happened in 2019. Now, just like everyone else, I watched that case play out. And early 2021, Reese's mum had contacted Christie's Readings. Now, I had a FaceTime with Stephanie. We had a long chat about it. She told me all about the case, the ins and outs, pretty much everything that was going on. I did a live video on Facebook to try and put out an appeal for people to come forward. They have been fighting for justice since 2019. Now, we've decided today to bring this case to YouTube in the hope that you guys will share, like, comment. Again, bring that case out there. At the moment, there is a complaint going through regarding Police Scotland, but I do think that it's good for everyone to be aware of this case. A lot of interaction with Reese's mum, Stephanie, and Stephen, his grandfather, and it's gave me a bigger insight into the case. I find it very important today that I ask everyone to share, like, comment. I want that case to be out there to help the family, to help the appeal, and to help the complaint that's going through at the moment. As it stands right now, there's a 19-year-old boy dead with no justice. Trigger warning for this case. It's very hard of hearing. And also, I do feel you hold on to your own children a little bit tighter tonight. Be very grateful that you have your children. I want to send so much love and prayers to the Bonner family. You're an inspiration when it comes to strength, and we are all behind you. You've built an army. And also to all the other cases and all the families that we've covered before now, we are sending you so much love. Right, guys, let's get started. Rhys was a 19-year-old boy from Barlornock in Glasgow. He lived with his mum and dad, his two sisters and his baby brother. Now, he came from a very close-knit family. He was close to his gran and granda. But his mum, Stephanie, also said that he was your typical big brother. He would take the girls to the park. He absolutely doted on them. They doted on him. He had a baby brother as well. What Stephanie did say was that Rhys had went right off social media weeks leading up to it, just couldn't be bothered with it, liked his privacy, so he deleted all his kind of social media accounts at that point as well. On the 24th of July 2019, Rhys went missing. Now, Stephanie said that Rhys had told her he was going to McDonald's in Easterhouse. He had his Celtic top on because it was a hot, warm day, and there was going to be a Celtic game later that day. She was a wee bit worried about him going to Easterhouse with a Celtic top on, but he did. And she also presumed he was going to Easterhouse because that's where his girlfriend came from as well. On the way there, he popped into his grandfather's. His grandfather gave him his pocket money as such. Then he went on his merry way to Easterhouse. Now, the last sighting of Rhys was at 2:20 on the 24th of July. And it had been decided because Rhys was 19. Between the Wednesday and the Friday, there wasn't much they could do because it wasn't unnormal for Rhys to maybe stay at a friend's. But the difference was he would always text Stephanie just to say, this is where I'm staying, just so she knew where he was. But on the Friday morning, Rhys's gran had said enough's enough, so they reported him missing to the police. But in this time frame as well, Stephanie had received messages, umpteen messages with horrific things and allegations, saying that she would never see her boy again, that he had been set alight. And one of them was as well, they'd even said a location, like young boys had come up to her and said there's been a body found. And it was actually in the location that Rhys was later found. So a lot of people were doing a lot of talking about this, even though at this point nobody knew Rhys was dead. And that is the part that I've always found very strange in this case. If there was no justice to be served in this case, why were people speaking about the fact that there was a chance that Rhys was dead straight away? His mum had to read those horrific messages. To then think that your boy's maybe just missing, to then hear these messages. And Stephanie had begged Police Scotland right at the beginning, could they check the forest and the woods at Easterhouse? She knew them by the back of her hand. And again, these young boys had come up and said it to her, but at that point, the police didn't do that. Stephanie had also heard that Rhys had been seen at the shopping centre So Stephanie again was pleading with Police Scotland to get the CCTV from the shopping centre, and it took Police Scotland over a week to obtain that footage. Now, bearing in mind, I know he's 19, but this is a 19-year-old boy that's missing, a mum that's frantic because she knows it's out of character for him. Where was the sense and urgency? I get, again, 19, but I don't understand why it would take so long to get CCTV to put the puzzle together. If somebody was putting their hand up and say, I think there's a risk of life here, that's the part that confuses me. No urgency whatsoever. Stephanie had also heard that Rhys had been at the bookies for half the day that day, so she contacted the bookies and eventually they confirmed that Rhys had been there. When she asked them if he'd won anything, we think it's data protection, but they couldn't tell her. But again, it's very poignant the fact that it's Stephanie doing all the legwork at this point when she's the one that's lost her son. I can imagine she's deeply, deeply distraught. But she's away looking to find CCTV, anything that was going to connect her to where her son is at that point. I find it very sad that in a situation like that Stephanie didn't have the mind rest, or she couldn't sit back and rely on her justice system to say they're going to find him, they're going to do the right thing. It's very sad. Stephanie still doesn't know to this day if the police checked the bookies' footage. They wouldn't tell her. I don't know what Police Scotland would get out holding information like that back. But again, it was another kick in the teeth for Stephanie. A kick in the gut probably, because as Stephanie's felt a lot of the time that she is fighting this on her own, and that nobody's really listening. And I can imagine at that point more than ever she felt that way. On the 8th of August 2019, at lunchtime, Rhys Bonner's body was found, and it was exactly where his mum had said it was. Days leading up to before Reese's body was found, Stephanie had been going up to look and she became physically sick. Now, when Reese's body was found, it was later discovered that she was actually only yards from her boy at that point. I feel very strongly about mother's instinct. I'm sure we all do as mums. But I think in a situation like that, that is probably your biggest mother's instinct. And that is one of the reasons that I do believe that Rhys needs justice. I trust in Stephanie's mother's instinct. He was found submerged in water. He lay there for 2 weeks. And again, Stephanie had already pleaded with Police Scotland to check out that area right back at the beginning. The next clip I'm going to add in, I'm saying it's a trigger warning. I'm asking Reese's family to look away now, and anyone that it could upset. When Police Scotland were recovering Rhys, someone had taken a video from over the wall. Now, when I did the live video on Facebook, we explained that it looked like Rhys had been pulled about, like it didn't look like a crime scene. They didn't do the things they were meant to do. Now, I had a lot of police and other people come forward within criminology telling me that a crime scene, and again without disturbing anyone, but their hands would be covered, their feet, their face, none of that was done. I feel it's only appropriate in a sense that this video is put up to show you the lack of empathy and compassion into why Stephanie was so triggered and still is triggered to the point that she's at. I'm sorry if this causes any upset to anyone, but I do feel that it is important to have this in the video, so please just look away now. That's how you handle a human being. Not a young boy at 19, a human being. I can't imagine as a mum, if that was my child, I can understand how angry. I'm saying I can understand, I probably can't. But I think, again, as I said already, that video was very significant to put in with this case, because I think it just sets the tone of Reese's case and the respect, or the lack of respect, that the Bonners were given. That is someone's son, and she had expressed for 2 weeks leading up to that to what type of mum she was. Any human being should have respect after their passing, but to not fill out a crime scene, why is it not a crime scene? A 19-year-old boy's been found half naked in marshland. Is that not enough to investigate? After Rhys was found, the story, the rumours, the speculation became a lot worse, and there were certain names being mentioned. Now, I can't imagine what Stephanie and her family were going through, having to listen to that, doing the legwork for the case, as well as trying to swallow the fact that her son has now been confirmed dead at this point. 3 days after Reese's body was found, his cap, his baseball cap, was found a close down, as in a flat close down, from someone whose name was being thrown about and was being suspected of it. The police questioned that person twice and then ruled them out. Now, when the cap was found, it was smelling all fresh and new, like it had just been washed. But it was confirmed that it was Reese's cap. Police didn't take away any clothes for the person, anything that could maybe have been classed as evidence. So other than being questioned twice, there was nothing else that had been done about that person. When the cap came back, there were no forensics, but there wouldn't be if it had been washed. Surely, again, that is a prime example of something suspicious. The fact that his hat was washed, you would only do that if you were trying to hide something. Another twist in this case was that Stephanie was not given a liaison officer. Now, at the time of doing the live in January, we were unsure why that was, but it was later confirmed with myself that you're only given a liaison officer if it's a victim and if they have been murdered. So they had decided straight away that Rhys hadn't been murdered. Stephanie didn't need a liaison officer, so they decided that they would phone Stephanie every day or every second day at 10 o'clock at night. Now, bearing in mind, Stephanie had 3 other children and her youngest, her baby boy, was premature. But they were also phoning her, the police, and asking her to go and try and get in contact with people that they couldn't get in contact with, try and get more information. So they were asking a grieving mother to do the legwork in their investigation and in their case. What type of human being puts that sort of pressure on a grieving family or a grieving mother? The police also told Stephanie that the people in question are being suspected at that time, or we couldn't lift them, they were too out their faces. So is that the green light for us all to get out our faces then and commit crimes and get away with it because the justice system doesn't want to deal with it because it's too much of a headache? Is that the tax system that we're paying into, that we look for justice, we look for protection as a country? It really, really, really infuriates me that the comments were made. So we'll just hope that they don't kill someone else or murder someone else in the time being while they sober up or come back down for their come down, so that then Police Scotland find it adequate enough to deal with them. I didn't know we were discriminating in criminals at this point. Just a wee side note in with this as well. Rhys was found between Glasgow Easterhouse and Gatlock Village in the marshland there. There is new houses backing onto that. As you could see in the previous video, someone was over the wall at that point. If you lived in that area at that time, in 24th of July 2019, and you missed the police that day and they came to your door, or you had something on your CCTV, even something so small, don't be scared to contact the police or contact our page or contact Stephanie or Stephen Bonner. Pass it on for you. But again, if there's any cameras that were directed in that location where Rhys was found, it doesn't matter how long ago it was, it will be very helpful to Police Scotland and to the Bonner family. Ask that between the dates of the 24th of July right up until about the 11th of August, if you've seen anything within that time in the marshlands, anything at all whatsoever, strong believer in criminals go back to the crime of the scene of the crime. And I just psychically get that there's something in that as well. Now, another video landed on the social media regarding the case a little while later, and it was a video of the suspect, or the person that Stephanie suspected, and they were getting battered basically, and the person made a lot of comments to do with Reese. Now, I'm not going to repeat them, and I'm not going to add that video onto this video. I felt the first video was very important because we are speaking a lot around Police Scotland and how Stephanie's been treated by them. With the next video, I wouldn't give it the gratification. But again, these comments were made, and that's the bit that I find strange. Why is all these conversations taking place in different areas people seem to know a lot more than they're letting on, so why can't someone come forward and speak that out? You're helping my family. This family is absolutely torn apart with this. When it was decided that Reese's body had to be identified, it was decided that it was best that Stephanie didn't do that. The police had said that it would be very traumatic for her. It was decided that Stephanie's dad, Stephen, would go and identify Rhys. Now, when Stephen got there, he couldn't even identify his own grandson. Now, bearing in mind at this point the police are saying this is all just normal, natural circumstances. If it was natural and normal, why could Mr. Bonner not identify his grandson? Why was it so traumatic for Stephanie to go? I think that just gives you the idea to 2 weeks of the waiting that has caused this as well, considering Stephanie was screaming out from the word go that she wanted that place searched. The taxi driver had also came forward saying that they had seen Reese and seen someone shouting at Reese, basically saying that they were going to do him in if he came to a certain place and things like that. So again, more witnesses coming forward that is building a picture against this case, that although that was a nice hot summer Wednesday day and the Celtic game was on, things were not good because he'd obviously hit trouble at this point earlier within the day. Now, bearing in mind, Reese was also in the rookies most of that day as well. When Reese was found, he was found half naked. His trainers were in a tree, his clothes were around about him. But this is another appeal within this video. There is black Celtic shorts missing. Now, Reese was found in his boxers. They have still never ever been recovered. Now again, if there was nothing suspicious in this, why was he not fully clothed? But these Celtic black shorts have never ever been found. If you have any information at all on that, can you please message Chrissy Jeans on Facebook or Instagram, or Stephanie or Stephen Bonner, or Police Scotland, or Shettleston Police Station as well. It also came back on Reese's toxicology report that he had taken blues. They were in his system. The person who was suspected around about spending time with him that day and things like that as well, they were known for that. They were known for taking blues. They were known for dealing blues. So again, this came back in Reese's toxicology. Since the 24th of July 2019, up until today's date, the 11th of November 2021, the Bonner family have yet to receive any sort of justice. They have a complaint in motion at the moment. What I am going to do now is, if anyone was on my Facebook Live today, you'd have seen that I've already confirmed it with the Bonner family. They have asked me specifically to do the Spirit Box tonight, which I'm more than happy to do. I have read for Stephanie in the past. I've given her everything that I can around it, just again from one mum to another. This case is deep in my heart, where I feel the exact same way as everyone else who's behind the hashtag Justice for Reese. I do think that Reese deserves justice, but I also think that his mum deserves justice as well. I feel that Police Scotland do a good job. They do, and I don't want to take that away from Police Scotland, but in this case, I think you've let yourselves down, you've let Scotland down, and you've certainly let the Bonner family down. If you have any information before I go into my predictions, please contact my page, contact Stephanie or Stephen Bonner, or contact Shettleston Police or Police Scotland 101 if you have any information whatsoever. It is not too late to help this family get justice. I'm going to go on to my predictions now, and then I'm going to go into the Spirit Box. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video, but I hope if anything you take away from this video that you feel as passionate as I do about this, where you want to be standing behind Stephanie and her family to get justice for Reese. The facts have been laid out in this video today, and that has came directly from Stephanie. There is also a podcast on the James English YouTube channel with Stephanie, and it was right back at the beginning, just after Reese had been found, and I think it's something worth watching as well, so check that out. Let's do the prediction round. This is that there is 3 people involved. I feel there is 2 men and 1 lady. I want to say that I psychically get that Reese got a win in the bookies on the Saturday. I get that he wasn't feeling himself And we all know it. We wake up some days and you just don't feel yourself, and there's never a rhyme or reason, and I feel exactly that's where he was at. I do feel I was excited about the Celtic game. I want to say that he never went back to watch the game because of the fact that he maybe did take blues, or that he'd taken something, so he was wanting to hide that. I do believe he went willingly with these people, but I do believe that it turned sour very, very quickly. I want to say, to give the Bonner family peace, that Rhys was never scared, but I think it was because where he was at that point in his wee mind. I want to say some sort of physical altercation took place, which led Rhys to the ground. What I do get round it is that those people walked away not thinking that he was dead. They thought that he was just knocked out. I believe one man had his hat on. I believe he walked through a street with his hat on. I want to say that they went back on I feel, early hours of the Friday morning is when they realised that Rhys was actually dead. I feel panic set in. The hat got washed. I want to say that these people aren't very savvy. They're not really covering their tracks the way a normal person would that would be guilty. I feel that the lady in question with it has been close to coming clean 3 times in the last 7 months. I want to say she might even came clean, or something's been said. I do feel that, I'll just give this. Originally, I feel this was an accident where it's been an altercation, and if you know yourself, if you've had a drink or if anything like that, if you're out of sourcing yourself, everything feels more sensitive. I want to say it's the fact they didn't go back and then report it. I feel that when they went back, once it was confirmed in their heads that Rhys had gone, then it was more about thinking about themselves. I want to say that they spoke about Rhys on the Wednesday, or going into the Thursday, when he first went missing, and that's why the stories were coming out, because people already knew, but they were using the past experience of that person and the present. The suspect, there has been talk that around that person there's been deaths before. I want to say that it's not one hand or two hand of people that know. I feel it's a lot more than that. I feel like people are scared to speak up, but it's not because they're scared of the criminals involved or the people involved. It's because it's been held for so long. I feel there will be justice served. I've already predicted, but I do feel towards now and the end of the year something's coming out, but I do feel by March or April things have really picked up pace. If not, they're already been clarified at that point. I feel the police did go to the bookies. It's just my psychic vibe. I want to say that tensions have ran high between the Bonner family and the police, and if anything, I wish the police would stand down a little bit and show compassion to the Bonner family and reassure them they're going to help them. I do see it coming in, but I feel at this point the Bonner family won't believe conviction, and I do see a miscarriage of justice as well of some sort. I want to say that the other 2 people involved, they are 2 men, and I feel, I don't want to give names, but I'll give one name, Andy or Andrew around something, and I feel that one person might already lost their life that was involved in that. We are going to go into the spirit box now. Again, it isn't only my opinion and my predictions, but especially within this case, I feel very strongly about it. And I want to say that before we do the spirit box, I have passed messages on to Stephanie before from Reese. He is very much at peace. He is settled, and he is proud of Punch, of his mum and the family. And I'll just give you this, he is telling me that my mum's got loads of friends now, and that makes him happy. Stephanie, I hope that gives you a wee bit of peace, because I know this is one of the hardest videos you're going to have to watch. Let's do the spirit box. Before we do the spirit box, I want to add in just a few wee videos and photographs of Stephanie Bonner and the family fighting hard for the justice for Reese. And just in case anyone wants to get involved, please just hashtag everything on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok with hashtag justice for Reese. let's get it out there. But I just want to add these videos in before we do the spirit box. What I'll do is I'll add one just now, and then I'll add in one just at the end after we've done the spirit box. I think everyone needs to know and see how hard that Stephanie's fighting. And I will just say this, with the situation and the cards that Stephanie's been dealt, she doesn't feel it yet, but it's made her a stronger person. She's making a difference to the world, and that makes her boy happy.
Scotland, after he was murdered and left alone for 15 days, hidden away in the woods. He was left there himself. He was half naked after a well-known beast killed my wee son. She gets to walk about the streets. Police Scotland done nothing. Police Scotland found my wee boy. Search and rescue team dragged my wee boy. No body bag, no nothing, no tent. And my wee young boy, he was only 19. They dragged him 1,000 feet. They dragged him out. He blew back. There's my son. They dragged him 1,000 feet and his head banged off the ground. I get sent video footage that'll stick in my head for the rest of my life. Because all the public were concerned why the police dragging that wee boy, why the police doing that. The police should be helping that wee boy, the police should be getting all the evidence, the police should be doing everything. Everybody was shocked about the police, and the police are very corrupt, and the police still going, and I've got so much more to tell you about the police. Please don't ever go with your gut instinct, please always go with your...
Spirit, if you're with us, give us a sign that you're here. And if Reese is with us, Reese, can you give me a wee sign you're here? Reese, can you tell me what happened to you? It is. Can you tell me who is responsible for your death? Who's Mikey? I mean Michael Elliott as well. It said too much fire, but I feel like that's a term for something else. Too much fire. Sweetie. Please, can you tell me if justice is going to be served? Can you give us a month or a date that's going to be significant to your family in your case, Reese? Reese, do you have any messages for your mum, your dad, your sisters, and your brother, and your gran and granddad? Right now. Sit back and wait. Reese, are you at peace, and who are you with? Julie, a connection with something?
We've had something so
I'll just give you what I get. I'm doing this a little bit different to any other case, just for Stephanie. Stephanie, your boy is very much at peace. I feel justice is going to be served between March and April, but I feel you're going to get movement before then. What I do get is that, I'll just give this, he keeps telling me about you go off to the right, somebody goes off to the right, but I don't know what he means by it. But he is at peace, and I hope you know that. I just want to thank each and every one of you for staying here right to the very end and watching, but a special thank you to Stephanie Bonner, Stephen Bonner, and everyone else within that family. Thank you so much for entrusting me enough to give me all those fine details to that case. I feel honoured at the fact that what you have went through, but please know, as part of Christie's readings over all our platforms, we fully support you. We have your back, Stephanie. We are part of your army, and that will never ever change. Guys, I'm asking you all to like, comment and share this video, speak about this case, get it out there, add it to Twitter, add it to Facebook, add it to Instagram. Follow Stephanie Bonner on Facebook. She is on TikTok as well. You're going to see her TikToks in a wee second, so you'll see the username. But again, thank you so much for watching. I've just added a few wee photos of Reese at the end here, alongside his mum fighting hard for him. Guys, stay safe, take care, like, comment and subscribe. Have a good Sunday.
Mummy boy went out to go to McDonald's. I says, right son, Mummy boy never returned home. I told the police, and the police didn't get about it, so I wrote states on Facebook begging for help. Ended up finding out who my son was there. It was a well-known older woman, a well-known beast, that other people's died in her house and died in her country, and the corrupt police has done nothing about it. I begged the police to get her in, begged them. My son went missing on the Wednesday, they didn't get her in on the Monday. Now that is diabolical.
One Scott. Go Stephanie!
Mummy boy was found half naked with terrible injuries. Mummy boy didn't have any eyeballs. Mummy boy had nothing. Mummy boy was unrecognisable. The killer still walks the street. 14, 15 whole days later, the police found Mummy boy hidden away in the woods. The police then attached a rope to Mummy baby, started pulling Mummy baby 1,000 feet. Now people said they're pulling their son to the cover of the water, but some is in water. This is pathways, this is beside houses, this is beside children, dog walkers, everything. The police are corrupt. 2 years later, I'm still fighting against the police. The police are very corrupt. Mark Barrow flees the house police station that was dealing with her. Was already dealing with her, and she was already involved in other deaths, and that never came yet. Mark Barrow's been took off away from the house station. Hundreds of people have been took off my son's case. People have been replaced. 2 whole years later, I've got a police complaint in the park. Now, the park is the top high end of police, and they're going to be investigating the police. They all know each other. It has to be an independent inquiry. The law has to change. I need justice for Reese, justice for all.
Justice!